We're calling it Master Maven. Master Maven. Now, some of you might have heard that SOCOM is building an exoskeleton system. It's not just one, it's not just Iron Man, it's a system of exoskeleton capabilities. And one of the biggest drivers for that is the armor. Because believe me, if you're the first person and a stack of heavily armed people about ready to burst through a door, the first person has the highest lethality rate. So how do we armor them? So to do that, we want to find who in the world is the greatest expert in applying novel material science to personnel armor. How are you going to find that person? Well, you can go to patent data, you can go to academic publications, you can use LinkedIn, you can use social media. You can use anything you want, but you have to show your work, and you have to be able to justify why you think that person is the expert. Now, this is very fuzzy. This is ambiguous, right? An expert, not an expert. How do you tell the difference between an expert or not? That is up for you to make the case to our stakeholders. What I do expect to see is some text analytics. I expect to see some graph and relationship analytics. I expect you to show how you got the data, processed the data, analyzed it, structured it, and then if you want to make it pretty, by all means, make it pretty. You will be evaluated across 3 general criteria. Number 1 is your conceptual approach to the problem. That shows me how well you understood what I said to you. Number 2 is the work you actually do, of course, but number 3 is your presentation. Because that is always, always important. How you present what you did helps people decide, in part, whether it really is good. It shouldn't be that way. It should just kind of stand alone in its own platonic ideal. But the reality is how you present your work is as much to do with what you actually did. So those 3 general areas. Answer the question? All right. Thank you. So once again, for our sponsors, we love you. Absolutely amazing. They made the crazy food, the treats, the snacks, the food truck possible, the booze. Truly, truly phenomenal. Our resource sponsors didn't give us cash. What they did is they worked with us to construct these challenges. So Harris Corporation and Planet worked with us to find the scenario about the lost ship. And we spent many hours digging through the data to find the right kind of scenario. And we had folks from Planet here with us. Also, NVIDIA came out as part of the partnership to try to give us some computational power. Also phenomenal. And some of the other companies that provided access to resources online. Very, very, very good. I also really need to thank the judges, because the judges weren't just judging the competition, they helped define the challenges. So these weren't just something Cam pulled out of a hat. These represent real areas of interest, real patterns of interest. It's not just about the ship being lost. It's about how do you take different kinds of data, weave different analytics together when you have uncertainty and you've got to look in front of somebody and say, yes, we can do this mission. And usually for the special operations community, that person they're looking at is the president. So that's really big. These other ones didn't seem as, life or death, right? Let's go find the master maven. But it's still really critical. As we work to find the best resources for the special operations community, we've got to find the best people, the smartest people, stick them in the room with a whole bunch of other smart people, and then pray that they come up with something better than we already have. The last challenge, close and dear to my heart, a lot of interesting stuff going on with that. 9 teams, amazing, 9 teams going after that. The Gray Pill, which I did name, by the way. All good and amazing things. The judges, up until very recently, have been working really, really hard. What I do have to say before we kick it off is the winners need to see Paige. Paige is walking right here. Back in what we call where are we having them meet you?
The HSR.
The HSR. Okay. The hot swap room. So that's the first room as you enter SoftWorks to your right. She's going to give you the checks for those who are local. For those who are remote, you're going to get me on Slack and we're going to coordinate the delivery of those checks there. Now the reason the winning teams have to go see Paige is I can't write a check to your team name, no matter how cool it is. All right. Now, on the Master Maven Challenge, also very difficult. Listening to the judges discuss, talk back and forth, because remember, 3 different ways that you were judged on the criteria. Your conceptual approach, the work you actually did, and then, of course, the presentation. So that was highly, highly interesting. All right, how am I going to do this time? My biggest fan, right here. All right. In third place is Expert Fine. Expert Fine. Get up here! All right. 1, 2, 3. All right.
Wow.
We take this note.
You get the real money.
Yeah, you get the real money. All right. I'm starting to see a trend because Virtualytics, number 2, the second, got second place. So congratulations. Now I have to admit something. You know, in the rush and the mix for everything, we invited anybody worldwide to participate in the hackathon. The unfortunate problem is we didn't keep track of actually where people were coming from. So these could be Martians for all I know. We don't know. But they did good work. They put their code in GitHub, and that's the spirit of the competition. Oh, I don't know. All right.
They were part of the ransomware.
So I have to say that I was not part of this judging, so I'm not a judge, right? I wander around, I give advice, technical stuff. I try not to influence the judging as much as possible. I was not in this judging session for very long. You know, I looked at some of the videos, talked to some of the people, but I saw this team work. And one of the most interesting things was the dynamic of the people who were technically inclined on the team and the people who weren't technical at all but still wanted to contribute. They still wanted to help. Yeah, thank you. Good. Thank you. So I would like to say, Daedalus.
He's actually cleaning in the other room.
Somebody go get him.
Somebody get him.
He's the one with the other stick.
Yeah, he's cleaning, yeah.
Oh, that's wow.
Wow.
You got 5 grand.
Hey Cam, can you
I can
hold
stay
the
smiling
thing
now.
too? There you go.
It'll be on here for a couple days.
Alright, right here. 1, 2, 3. There you go.
All right.
I guess this goes to me.
Oh, you can get those?
No, we don't get
Figure it out.